guess who's back? It's your boy Buddy Loco and my dog Big B-Rat with another episode of Real Inglewood Moments. And today on this episode we got Spud, Clifford Johnson, one of the guys who have 15 books and one in the making. Y'all stay tuned. Let's get it. So let's go with Spud, Clifford Johnson. How you want to introduce yourself and let the people know who you are?
You know, I'm Clifford Spud Johnson, author of 16 Urban books. Been writing for a long time, started in federal prison. My homies call me Spud, my young homies call me Spuddy B. When I was active, it was Spud the Blood, so you can just pick any moniker you use and we can roll with it.
Let's keep it rolling. So you have 15 books, one in the making.
Yeah. You
told me you was working on one right now.
Yeah.
When did your first book come out? And what was the name of it?
2009. I had to think about where I was in federal prison, remember. I was in Texarkana. I got the deal in 2008 and it came out in 2009 called California Love.
Right.
That was my first book.
I got that book at the house.
Yeah. That's a classic.
I had that book. I paid good money for it. And one of the homies said, "Hey buddy, I really want that book." And I gave it to my homeboy Didi. Hey Didi, when you see this, I want my book back. Probably never get the motherfucker back anyway. That book, the first one you wrote, I think I talked to you about that book before and you told me that it was about the way you grew up and a lot of the names and characters in that book was based on true characters, but you changed their names.
No, see, that book is, yeah, you're right, because I use Squid, I use Siggy, I use Ant-Dog, and I talked about one of the homies from Crenshaw Mafia, Bizarro. I talked about him. What I did, I tried to, that wasn't my first book I wrote, that was the first book that got published. I wrote two other ones, and when I was in the hole, I had an issue, and I was in the hole for a year on investigation, and I started writing because I was reading Terry Woods and Sister Soldier and Quan, three authors who really was veterans in the crime fiction genre, who became big friends of mine, good friends of mine now. But I said, okay, let me see if I can do something. Use everybody I know. I'm gonna describe B-Rat, but I'm gonna call him Dink. I'm gonna describe Buddy, but I'm gonna call him Uchi. You know what I mean? I'm just gonna describe something because they told me if you use somebody's name and it don't look like that person, they can't. Your name is purely coincidental.
Right.
And that way you can bypass it.
Right.
So that's how I wrote my first book. It was called Till the Wheels Fall Off, and it's still in the archive. I have to redo it. It's too old now, but I will. And so when it got to California Love, I pretty much got it where I don't need to create. I needed to use, I brought Siggy just because he ain't never coming on, so that was my way of bringing the homie some homage.
Right.
But Squid, I let him have a prominent role, which it wasn't intended to be. Like when I write a book, I say, okay, I'm gonna go this way, and this way. But it starts this way and it ends a total way from what I intended.
Right.
But I use Ant-Dog, I use references to Bizarro, I use references to Beebs, OG Beebs, rest in peace from Inglewood family, to give Inglewood background from a Bloods foundation.
Right.
Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be on the north side over here by the homie such Spinach Street. Oh, I'm on the down Clinton. One of the scenes, oh yeah, she says, so, cause I got Siggy being from Inglewood family. Mm-hmm. And but he's the main character. And he like, yeah, just rolling my neighborhood made me think about Beatles. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So people who read it know it was on some Inglewood.
Oh, yeah.
And even when I get into it with the Crips, you know, he get into it with the IVCs, I use Big Slick. I use him. Mm-hmm. But even when I tall light skin, I told him tall dark skin nigga. So he couldn't. When I used Slick, I think I used Folk where they got into a big squabble at a club. And I used some of the Raymonds because they did a shooting or something in the Raymonds, and I used some of them. I stole tall, dark skin. I had them tall, light skinned. Just to give the names around, whether they Crips or Bloods, you get the Inglewood feel. And that was my whole thing about the California love thing. It was showing you the gangbang aspect of Inglewood, not focusing in LA, just more art circle.
Right.
And that is the reason why I would, if you look, that's number one in my books. 14 books later, you check any one of, there's nothing about no gangbanging, there's nothing about it no more because I caught too much hell from that book. Homies like, oh, why you using crab so much? The homies that read. I said, when you with your homeboys, you say, oh, that nigga Spud the Blood. You say Spud the Sob and Cubs just like when I'm at home with I'm like, yeah, that nigga's a crab. So what's wrong with that book? Just because you actually reading it, come on, stop playing. So I say after that, this book I'm working on now, this book I'm working on now is in California, but it's connected to my series Can't Stop and Won't Stop. But I'm each focused on beefing with the Mexican because the Mexican killed his father. So I don't even have to touch nothing else because I said I don't want to do that. You know what I mean?
Okay, so one of the things we do is we try to take negativity and turn it into positivity, to show the youth that there is a better direction to go in. Do you want to elaborate on what caused you to go to federal prison?
Yeah, I've been around it all started from the neighborhood, I guess, because just how we was living. We all went to school. You know, moms make sure we was going to go get them grades, going to get your ass whooped. But yet still, we was still out there. At a young age, we was out there. You know what I mean? We wasn't hardcore at that time, but we was defending the neighborhood. And as time progressed, defending the neighborhood went to starting to get money. I go to camp, I come home, one of the homies, OGET, rest in peace, Uchi, my partner Uchi, homie Uchi, just come to me and say, man, come on, we go talk to ET. Man, T, fuck is ET? Like, you remember Ernest Ted once we playing football? I'm like, yeah, what about him? What, he from the set now? He been around forever, but he wasn't never from the set growing up. And he like, yeah, he you'll see. And that's the first man to put some dope in my head. And he told me to sit in this spot, and when he come back, he gonna take care of us. And I think he was gone a few hours early in the morning. I gotta go home. I'm fresh out of jail. I seen my mama in court, and she left, so she probably where this nigga at. So I remember I was 15, 85, and he came back about 1 o'clock. Me, him, and Uchi set it all down, all we made, and he gave me $1,500. And I'm like, okay, what we gonna do is he said, just come back tomorrow, we gonna get out. And when I left that house right there, wasn't nothing left in my mind that I'm gonna be a drug dealer. Period.
Can you recall what year that was?
1985. I came home February of 80. Uchi came home February 1st. I came home February 12th, 7 days before my 15th birthday. That's why I was 14. I was a week away from being 15. I'll never forget it. And I'm coming home. Then when I come home, my mama get up, boy, you know I gotta go to sleep. Where you been, boy? I been with the homies, they kicked, and they gave me some money here. And I give her 300, she see the road and shit. And going back to bed again, leave me alone. So I remember laying back in the bed, putting the dubs all lined up. And I said, shit, we was only there about 5. Shit. And once he gets you, it's just like an addict. Straight up.
Hey, look, before we even go further into it, take us back to the days of you know, you first start gang banging, how it was, you know what I'm saying, what it was like in the neighborhood, you know what I'm saying, what you know, what you was seeing then.
Well, I got a good minute. You know, and one of the things they say about authors is they have a good memory because it's like a sponge.
Right.
It's like you see shit and you soak it up. You might say something funny, and I'm not even meaning to. And I might be writing, and this joke Buddy said comes in my mind, and I just do it. And that's really what helps. A lot of people say what reason why my books seem so authentic and real, though they're fiction stories.
Yeah.
And I say that to say, I moved in the neighborhood in 1974 on 111th Street, just before my 5th birthday. Went to school to Center Park, kindergarten. Mm-hmm. We stayed on 111th Street 2 years, and then we moved to 108th Street. So, and I always say that when the homies, when we constantly, only two places in Inglewood I ever lived was 111 and 108. Mm-hmm. Period. You know, I always clown with that.
Right.
And when I moved to the 876, I met my best friend, my dog, to this very day. Which I came out and he was just standing in front of his house, and we've been together ever since.
Right.
A few years after that, about 78, Def Kevin moved from the hood, moved on the block.
Yeah.
And that became our little thing. Yeah, but what we were looking at was our G homies, E-Mac, Pookie, Den Bone, all the G homies, Ronald, Karate Ronald, Julio, Chiefy. Right. The 8 was the block for real. Mm-hmm. Now Scared Dog, now we go to the port, Spaghetti and OG Taco, rest in peace. They were like the center of attention. Mm-hmm. So we over there, and we hang with them with Poonie too. Now Ice Rap, family, but he was Poonie from the set, Putty. You know, all the G homies. Right. So we always in the port messing with them, trying to, let me hit that beer, let me taste that TJ Swan. They wouldn't give us none, so we go store and steal something and come back like, yeah, fuck y'all. You know, just little bad niggas running on about. Right. We're not banging. And the homies, though, they got the set established, they just, really just the homies. Yeah. It's the neighborhood hanging. You go into the port, you're gonna get drunk. We had the homegirls, Ann, Cherry, Bernadette, Cherry, Tan, and Taco Sister, we had Devo and Glenn and Antoinette all on the Twitter. The hood had the females, and really, that's part of the reason why the Inglewood family thing is over us. Mm-hmm. And I say that because the Inglewood family had a strong presence on 112th because of L Baby. Yeah. Now, L Baby, the homie, and then his sister Tan, you had Phil Bill messing with Tan. You had Big Mike messing with one of the homegirls. You had Buddy. So they was always down here in the hundreds, though they from 7-7. So I'm looking at all this. You know what I mean? As we grew up, this is what we do. You know, and then somehow, I don't know, I went to jail in 1979, 9 years old, for breaking into Center Park. And it was me, E-Mac, Pookie, Uchi got away. It was me, Uchi, E-Mac, Pookie, Dembone. Everybody got away except, and Lil Mike. Everybody got away except for me and Lil Mike. Because we was spray paint, we was, little paint. We was paint CPB. And that's what my earliest collection of remembering CPB, because first time we was all on the classroom on the chalkboard painting CPB. CPB. We CPBs, and that's just how it stuck. And I remember because I was 9 years old when they give you your free sentence report when you're in federal prison, they show all your arrests. Yeah. And I looked at mine and I said, damn, I was 9. I thought I was about 10 or 11. I looked at age 9, 1979, July something, burglary and vandalism. I said, whoa. So that's basically, I like telling I've been from the hood since I was 9. Because that's what I remember. Right. But actually being from the hood and being from the hood is two different things. Yeah. You know what I mean? Everything I can tell you, everybody ain't killers. Right. The media tend to think, gangbangers, they're killers, they're ruthless. No, everybody ain't built to kill. Right. And everybody has their own component within the game. Right. You got some homies like back in, I ain't gonna use him because that might sound bad. But you got some homies that just spray paint real good. So he goes around and just strikes up real good. That's his component. That's what he brings to the set. Right. So when motherfuckers roll by, they see CPB or whatever hood you run. Then you got your killers. You got your hardcore killers.
Right.
Then you got niggas that's all about the money.
Right.
But all that money, what you doing when you from the set, you got all that money. When the homies need pistols, you come through, hey, you go get some pistols.
Mm-hmm.
That's your component to the set. Then you got someone that's just squabble good. I mean, we know if we go get you to fight, you're gonna beat this dude's ass without no question asked.
Right.
Lee Horn. Give me his name.
Lee Horn, OG rest in peace. Lee Horn had hands, but that was the older generation.
Yeah.
We speak about ours, you talk Muggs. You can go get Muggs, Muggs gonna pounce you.
Mm-hmm.
He's just naturally man, I'm gonna pause real quick for that, because talking about Muggs. I was at Devo, the homegirl Devo Mafia birthday party. It was a little step about that high I couldn't get over. So Kenny Boy leaned me back and got me up. So at the end of the thing, I'm getting ready to leave, and I can't get down that. And Kenny was like, hold on, I got your mother. I said, no, I got him. He said, I said, what you doing? He said, man, just hold on. Literally, this man came from behind me, grabbed my wheels, and he didn't grunt. He did, this is 3+ dead weight in a wheelchair. And he had me this high. You all right? I got you. Don't worry about it. And set me there. I say, man, are you serious?
Damn.
That's now. This was like a couple years ago.
Right.
I'm 52, he's 53.
Right.
And still that strong.
Right.
So, yeah, we have this problem. It's like, Muggs. You know, I remember sometime in high school, I used to just lie. Muggs, nigga just said, fuck the set.
Yeah.
And you know, I ain't trying to, where?
Yeah.
Boom, boom. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry I had to use that reference because that man's a monster.
Right.
But, like I said, I want to say 1981 is when I became angry, because that's when we lost Pookie.